All right, my friends, welcome to episode 349 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, the professor at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. Over there is Anthony, the dev at Summer Speak. He is back from his
I
road
am.
trip. How was your trip?
It was great. Yeah, I had a great time just disconnecting for 2 weeks. Got to experience Central and Southern Oregon, mostly the Bend area and around that whole thing. Bend is really cool. That city rules.
Awesome.
Kind of from like, I see why people go vacation here.
Yeah.
And
Get to
yeah,
work at Sony Bend,
but
work in a
yeah,
beautiful place.
I sent you the picture actually while I was
Yeah.
there of like walked right by the building and just had a Sony logo on it. That's it. Nothing else.
Didn't even say like Sony Bend, just said Sony,
Nope,
right?
just said Sony.
Yeah.
And the thing with it, but I'm like, man, right around them is like a cider house, couple breweries.
Oh, nice.
Like
Nice.
Bend has a lot of breweries. There's a lot of beer coming out of Bend, which is fine. I partook quite often while I was there.
Yeah, I could tell from the pictures. More beer.
Yeah, there's beer. It was good. Then that, I got to see Crater Lake, which was honestly, pictures don't do it justice. I expected, I'm like, oh, national park, it's gonna be a cool lake and everything. No, it's pretty striking. It's really neat. Highly
really
recommend
beautiful.
that one.
Absolutely.
I think people only probably need like 2 days to see the entire park. It's not huge. Park wise, it's the lake. So that was neat, and then ended in Ashland, where I got to partake in Oregon Shakespeare Festival again after 12 years.
So lucky. Oh my god. And your kids seem like they liked it.
They did a lot. Got home yesterday and asked them, like, okay, what was your highlight? And they both were like, The Tempest.
Oh, wow.
No hesitation. They loved it. And then we saw on Thursday night, the day we got to Ashland, we saw Once Upon This Island, which is a musical. I had a look up when it was out. Like, it's a musical from the 90s, early 90s, based on a book, and it's basically the book and everything is kind of Caribbean-esque, like non-definable areas of the Caribbean and the culture of the Caribbean, and a musical about tragedy of love, tragedy kind of thing. I can see like shades of Romeo and Juliet in it, and weirdly looking it up when I was looking up the details on it, it was inspired by the Hans Christian Andersen Little Mermaid tale. So it doesn't end happily.
Oh, it's a little dark.
A little dark. But it was just an hour and a half musical. We had been recommended by some family friends that they had gone and saw it and said it was really good, and it was really good. So we got to see 2 plays while we were there, and yeah, Tempest was the highlight, and the Elizabethan, which was the first time I had been in the Elizabethan theater, because I had never been down during the summertime when it was open. I'd always be in the early spring or fall previously, so that was cool to see. So I'm
pretty
excited.
Sure my wife and I saw a show there. God, when we were there years ago, before our daughter was born. That's awesome. I'm very excited for you and that trip and your kids to see. The shows there.
Yeah. Next year we're gonna go to see Rent.
Yes, I already showed my wife. I was like, we're doing this. I don't know if we're doing it as a family or if I'm just doing this. Not sure yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. My kids were like, can we see Rent? And I'm like, probably, kind of, but I don't know.
Your choice. How old were we? We were 17?
Yeah, we were a bit older, and I'm like, it's probably more than... I think they'd be fine with it. I think they would just miss a lot of the nuance of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is fine. So I don't do that. But they want to go back down because they're in the Elizabethan, they're doing 12th Night, which is what my kids did a hitified version of for their school at the end of last year, where my son was playing a fairly large part in it. So they saw that 12th Night was going to be there, and they're like, we have to come down and see this. So I'm like, okay. Twist my arm, sure.
Yes. Oh no.
Oh no. I have to go. Yeah.
Okay, I guess we can go. But you owe me.
Yeah. It'll be nice if we can make this somewhat of a tradition. Maybe not every year, but a more consistent thing. Because being there, I missed it. I was like, oh yeah, I really like this town. I like seeing these plays, and yeah,
love the sulfur water.
Did not drink the sulfur water. I should have had them drink the egg water.
Here, try this. This is the most delicious water ever.
But yeah, that was a good trip.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, while you were gone, you missed some news. There was a Splatoon Direct, and there's more Splatoon coming on September 9th. Also, THQ Nordic had an event, and they showed some games, apparently. But I didn't pay attention to much of it. It's been a busy 2 weeks here. But there were a lot of game delays. I think we'll talk about that a little bit this week before we talk about what we've been playing. So, it seems like I feel like games were delayed last year, and they said, "Wow, 2022 is going to be amazing," and then all the games are being delayed to 2023.
2023 is going to be amazing. I mean, games always get delayed to begin with, typically. That's not shocking. It's really hard to pin down release dates for games super far out because it's hard to know when it's going to be done. What bugs you'll find, what polish you need to do. You'll do playtesting, and people will play it and be like, "Oh, this is terrible." You're like, "Uh-oh." And
we got delayed Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns. I saw that it was delayed. Did they say why?
Not that I remember. I just assumed it was for the normal stuff, but it was surprising to me because they've been in like a media blitz. They've been showing like deep stuff about like different characters, how they play and whatever, Spider-Man, Human Torch, whatever else, and then they delay.
A streamer
got negative feedback from those or what?
Maybe a streamer that I watched was invited. He went to their closed door kind of. He got play. He played it for like 8 hours and got to record the footage, and he spent a stream just showing it off once he was allowed to. Matt Mercer voices the main character, the male main character. Just so you know.
That's cool. I did not know that.
The streamer was really funny in the fact that he's like said he was in the room and the voice acting started with your character, and he's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, Matt Mercer." I was like, "Fucking Mercer," and the people are like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Oh no, it's fine. It's just they from long ago before Critical blew up. They were in D&D streaming community stuff together, so they're funny. Good friends." And he's just like, "For fuck's sake, I hear Mercer's voice everywhere. Like, I can't escape it."
So that's good for Mercer, though, man.
I know it's probably a pretty big, beefy role for Mercer overall because it seemed like there was a lot of voice acting throughout.
Is he playing a named Marvel character, or is it like
no? It's your character.
Okay, got it.
Whatever your character, the avatar character is in the game, the Hunter, I think.
Yeah.
So he's the male voice of the Hunter.
Cool.
I don't know who's doing the female voice.
Laura Bailey.
Sure, why not? But yeah, I don't know. Like they were showing a lot of it, and then it got pushed. So, I mean, that's I don't know, honestly. Like it definitely could be bugs and performance, kind of that polished stuff, but it could also be feedback from people seeing that and
exactly.
Needs more time to cook.
Right, either a trend or like feedback from specific people that they're like, "Oh, okay, we got to listen to this."
Yeah. Title will launch later this fiscal year, so probably
by July. So
into June 2023. So that's probably a spring at this point.
Yeah.
It will launch on PC, Series X, PS5 on the initial launch, and Xbox One, PS4, and Switch will follow at a later date. That makes me feel like performance is a problem.
Yes, exactly. It's like a cyberpunk issue. We're like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, we're just gonna we know performance is fine on these three platforms, and we're gonna have to take some time to work on the other three. Which is probably the correct move. Do not pull a cyberpunk there. Just
exactly. Do it right.
So that's interesting.
And people can wait. I mean, we've got other things to play. I think I don't know if people are trying to get out of the way of God of War Ragnarok as well, because that's
maybe
bookending the year. Elden Ring at the beginning and God of War at the end. It's going to be massive.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. Just trying to see. Yeah, I think there's probably some of that. If you have the runway, why would you want to go up against those anyway? Like if you could just say like, hey, we can hold a couple months. We get time to bug fix and polish and get out of the way of these big games. Cool.
Yep.
But honestly, a lot of those big games will probably be delayed as well and move to the Crush Shoe again. So,
exactly. It's hard.
It's a lose-lose situation most of the time.
Just put it out when you're ready.
Yeah,
but
basically.
they're clearly not ready. So which is fine. I just keep thinking like, what's the big fall stuff? And it's it's Ragnarok. Splatoon 3 is a big one for Nintendo, and that's early fall. But kind of like the multi-platform, Xbox Series X, PS5, PC releases. I don't know.
Yeah,
Ragnarok is one thing that's on my mind. I know Xbox Studios don't really have anything coming out.
Yeah, Starfield was already delayed.
Yeah.
That was like supposed to be probably the big Xbox release.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that got delayed to spring or summer.
But the release Xbox has coming out from Obsidian, Pentiment, I'm excited about, but that is certainly not one of those tentpole releases. That's like a very
Pentiment looks really cool, but it's you're exactly right. It's not your AAA run ads during football game kind of game.
Definitely not. That would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious, but it's not going to happen. Though that's a game that they'll be happy if it sells 100,000 units, a couple 100,000. Like it's meant to be a smaller experimental thing.
It's a Game Pass game, so I wonder how much they will sell.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more of a streaming kind of thing.
It's funny. Another game I saw that got delayed was one that on vacation I was thinking of because I got to play in an arcade at Bend, Metal Slug. And I was like, wasn't there a Metal Slug Tactics coming out? What happened to that? And it's been delayed again.
You caused it by finding the one old version of Metal Slug and playing it.
I did.
Sent the ripples out in the universe.
There's just a crazy arcade place in Bend that's just by the hour. You just pay for an hour and you can just play whatever games they have in there.
Coins and stuff.
Nope.
You just pay to get in. Oh, that's
you just
great.
Play and it's a lot of old games. But yeah, they have.
Was there like a Simpsons arcade game?
Do they have Simpsons? No, they didn't have Simpsons right now. I mean, what games did I play? I played Metal Slug, Mortal Kombat 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Oh yeah.
Pole Position, Q*bert, Robotron. I played a bunch of Robotron. Which I highly recommend if anyone can go hunt down one of those cabinets. Freaking amazing. We had a Robotron cabinet at PopCap, and that was one of our favorites. And it's still one of my favorites. It's such a pain in the ass hard game though. What else did they have there? They had a weird one of the gun games.
The light gun, whatever.
Light gun. I can't remember which one specifically. There's so many of those. Dragon Quest? Not Dragon Quest.
It's like they had a Dragon Quest arcade
game? What's the Don Bluth?
Oh, fuck yeah, I know what you're talking about. But Dirk.
Yes, they had that. It's still an awful game. Such a Dragon's Lair. It's so bad. It's still really bad. It is pain in the ass as you remember it. So I guess I played some of that while I was gone. But yeah, Metal Slug Tactics got delayed. I mean, this has been it's been like years since they originally announced that game. Years.
It's been a while, and yeah, I don't know. It's games are hard, but
games are hard.
It doesn't seem like it's pushing graphics.
No,
I'm not sure.
So that's part of I'm like, I'm curious why that one is taking so long, or if they just announced really early.
Yeah.
They probably announced just really, really early. Which companies shouldn't really do. There's no need to, unless you're trying to get investment somehow,
right?
Or co-marketing. Hold those announcements till like a year out.
You're like advertising for people, like, hey, we're making this game, come work for us.
Yeah, kind of.
I guess that makes sense too. But there was. I thought there was another. Advance Wars got delayed because of the Ukraine war.
Yeah,
it's still there's no word of that, obviously, and they'll hold that till they're ready. Maybe Russia can fuck off, and
maybe
then they'll put it out.
I
don't know if with the FBI taking Trump's documents, maybe Russia won't have anything else to go off of.
God. But I mean, it does feel like a lot of stuff in general is just delayed and has been delayed, and I'm wondering, even at this point, I'm like, will Ragnarok actually come out this year?
Yes, it's got to.
It has to,
Like,
right? Until they
waited
get close
so
and they're
long.
like, no, never mind.
They waited so long to put a release date out. Like,
That's
they're not
true.
Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog. If it were a Naughty Dog game, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's probably getting delayed. And even like the Last of Us remastered, whatever. I would think maybe it could be delayed, but they already announced they had gone gold. So
yeah,
I guess that counts as a big fall release, but like it's like the third release of that same game. So
it's true.
and then
It's
Bayonetta
true.
3. Bayonetta 3 is a big one, and that one's coming out.
That's true. Finally,
off delayed. Not off delayed, but like non talked about. And
yeah.
then all of a sudden it comes out of nowhere, like, okay, we're done, we're releasing. So
Yeah.
again, that's a Switch game, but yeah, I guess I don't know. Switch has some stuff coming out, and then
I
there's
think
Ragnarok.
Switch is the place for a lot of games this fall in general.
Yeah. Which is great. I've been playing my Switch a lot more lately than previously, so sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And so
saw. I don't know when it's coming out.
Bayonetta 3, October,
No,
end of October.
That's October.
Yeah.
But the other thing I just saw while I was gone that was announced was Tactics Ogre Reborn.
That's it. Yeah, right.
Holy crap!
And that's a remake.
Yeah.
I think it's a remake, right?
It's not completely remake. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've heard about that for so long, but I've never played it.
I mean, it's the precursor to Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
But holy crap, it's actually going to happen? Crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. So there's stuff to play this fall. And, most of us are still playing Elden Ring anyways.
A guy who I had an acquaintance here, he finally just stopped playing it. He played it 4 times through.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
He would go to try to play something else, and he would just play it again. Come back and play it again. And then he got through it before, and he's like, no, I think I'm actually done. Like, done. He's pretty sure he's done pretty much everything and he can do in the game. He platinumed it. So.
Damn.
He's just yeah, I think I'm done. And he's like, I think that was an incredible game.
I guess so. You're playing it 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, many people I know have played it twice in a row. It's just like, wow.
I mean, that's roughly me.
Yeah.
I was like 3/4 the way through a second playthrough of it.
I'm only halfway through, I feel like, and I am at over 80 hours.
Yep.
It's just like, I feel like if I don't get back to it, I feel like I've played the game.
Yeah, no, you have.
I'm sure I will.
You totally have. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, it's not like the game drastically changes. You just get more things, like new bosses, of course, that do different moves and everything, but 80 hours in, you know what the combat is, you know what you're trying to do, you know what your build is. You might just get different items and spells and armors and stuff to make it better, but yeah.
So
I think you've experienced the game. It's just a matter if you actually want to finish it or not.
Yep. 80 hours in, still got my dual Uchis.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
I can't walk away.
But yeah, talking about playing things though.
Yeah, what you been playing this vacation?
Beyond that arcade thing, it's just been Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And I am just under 50 hours into the game.
Nice. Wow.
And I think I'm about 2/3 of the way through the game, I think. Just kind of how it feels. I'd be surprised. I think I'll beat it at 80 hours, 90 hours. It just depends. I don't know if the chapters get longer, because I'm just hit chapter 5, and I think there's 8 chapters total. But these back chapters could be long.
Yeah, because the reviews that I read and listened to were, some people were talking about doing everything, and it's 150 hours, and then other people were like, I didn't do everything, but it was 100 hours.
Okay.
So I think 90 hours is probably right about.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. So how is it?
I'm having a blast with it. Of the Xenoblade games, I've played the most of 1. I've dabbled with 2. Dabbled with X on the Wii U when I had your Wii U.
Yeah.
This is the most compelling of them to me. Like,
in terms of gameplay or story, or both, or
both characters, gameplay, story. It just character-wise and story-wise, it just starts out faster, stronger. Like the hook is much quicker. Like you're just like, yep, I get it. I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah.
so that helps. The story is, I mean, I texted you. It's anime as fuck. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so you have to just be on board with a certain level of absurdity to it, and it is. But I just kind of hit some plot twisty stuff, like bigger reveals earlier today that honestly add a lot of context to the game. And yeah, it's dealing with some pretty heady subject matter overall.
Have you already killed God? Are you killing God? Is that what this
I
game's about?
assume at some point I will, or what will be God here.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the guy who's behind all the Xeno games, Tetsuya Takahashi. This is what he's into, basically. Like, Xenogears back in the day was dealing with like Nietzschean concepts, basically, in philosophy.
Yeah.
And it's very heady philosophical stuff. And yeah, I think the presentation has gotten better over time in presenting these concepts, but it's still there. And I'm just kind of hitting that of being like, what is life, and how do you measure life, and the time of living, and pain and suffering to joy, and all of the fun stuff.
Because the characters, I don't know if it's the main characters or the soldiers or whatever, but they have like 10-year lifespan, right? In this game?
That's the main characters. That's the basic premise. Is there's this world. There's two sides, Kavesi and Agnes, that are at war. Their soldiers are not born. They're basically kicked out of pods, and they live for 10 years, and they either die on the battlefield, or when 10 years is up, they're reconstituted in a ceremony to go back into the ether or something. But that's like the premise, and then your party is a group of these soldiers, who of course learn that there's bigger machinations going on.
So if you're 2/3 of the way through the story, are you like 2/3 of the way through their lives, or is it still like the first year?
No, that's not how it worked. Like, it's only been like, it doesn't take place over their entire lifespan. It's
okay.
I think the whole game technically right now is probably taking place over like a week.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
Like, it kicks off and it was just like, oh, they very quickly, within the first like 3 hours, give you the main like hook of like why your party's together, what they need to do. And of course there's complications along the way, and it's a big open world to explore, which Monolith Soft does very well. Like, they've done pretty good at figuring out how to make big open worlds, especially on the Switch. So I will say the music has been great. It's Yoshinori Mitsuda, of Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross fame.
I've heard of Chrono Trigger, and I've heard the music is good.
Yeah, the guy's music is really good, and I hadn't realized that he had, for whatever reason, never connected that he had done Xenogears originally in the past. And I think he's done this, and I think he did Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to see if he actually did Xenoblade, the first one. Because he did some Xenosagas, but not all of them. No, he did the first... No, he only did one part of Xenoblade Chronicles. But
he's done the whole soundtrack for 3?
Him and a couple other people. There's like 3 composers, but you can tell his stuff. I mean, I posted the boss battle music.
The boss battle. Oh my god!
Like, holy crap! It's
There's
so hype when it comes on.
Yeah.
You're just like,
gosh.
I'm in. We're doing this. We're fighting a boss, and that's just a normal boss. That's not like special story boss. There's even
Jesus. That was like,
yep.
How do you go beyond that music?
Oh, they do. Add even more choir to it. Let's go.
Oh, totally.
So music's been great. I enjoyed the characters and the story. All the so there's 6 characters. This isn't a game about like collecting your party, which most JRPGs are at. Like, no, you get your 6 party members basically from the start.
Good.
Once everything kind of like the inciting incident happens, you have your party members. So the whole game has just been character moments basically, and they do a good job of giving each of the different party members some time to shine and depth. So over 50 hours, I actually feel like I know who these characters are.
Oh, that's cool.
Know what their complications are and hang-ups and whole thing. It's good. It's like, huh, okay. And but taking away that like normal JRPG thing of like, well, you're always looking to get the next party member, which typically is a big thing of JRPGs. You don't have that here. So that it's very much replaced in the kind of the just running from your problems plotline, or running to the problems, depending. But either way, it's kept very road trip Philly.
It's like Final Fantasy 15.
Kind of, but done better, I would think, so far.
That's good, because, yeah, I could see some room for improvement. Although there were pieces of it that I really liked, the camaraderie, the little character moments.
And they have those, and I would say Xenoblade Chronicles 3 does those things better than 15 ever did. Because they just they take the time to really do it.
Right.
So that's been good. I'm trying to think of any other things about it. Combat's been fun. It's a lot.
Yeah, you're juggling a bunch of abilities and such.
Kind of. I actually find that I don't shift characters all that often. The AI is really good for following up combos and things. So,
cool.
Generally, and from what I've read online, most people, you just pick the character you want to play, whatever class you have them set to. You're like, oh, I want to play this type of damage dealer right now. So you just stick with that character, and then just play as them and position yourself, because you have more than enough to manage of just keeping your own positioning and using your own abilities, and then just let the AI do its thing. But then there are layers of other combat mechanics on top of it. A term interlinking, I think they showed in the trailer, it's like where the two characters can come together as one like mecha that has its own abilities.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
And has its own mechanics.
Xenoblade Chronicles X a little bit.
And Xenogears. Yeah. Like this is probably the closest to... X was probably the closest originally to Xenogears in some ways. Of all these games have been. This one is probably... Now I'm like, no, this is very much Xenogears redone in a lot of ways. Some names changed, some stuff filed down, but it's touching on a lot of the same subject matter, and it looks similar in a lot of ways. A lot of mecha stuff going on. So there's a whole combat system around that about interlinking and becoming a mecha. And your 6 party members can become 3 mechas and doing their thing. So that's the thing. There's chain attacks, which are very different than chain attack stuff in like Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition. Like, this is far better, but it's like you charge up a chain attack meter, you go, I'm going to do a chain attack. And then it becomes turn-based. Like, it pauses, and then you're just playing this like mini game, trying to do as much chain attack and using your characters in the right order, and just trying to like really just do this like crazy combo out as many times as you can get it done. Kind of press your luck in some ways. But yeah, it's completely, at that point, it becomes just like, take as much time as you want to plan which character you're going to do which attack with and the order you're going to do things with. And I found that like it's probably the biggest thing you need to manage in the game, because it's the thing that like I've taken boss health bars from half to dead using one chain attack. If you plan it properly. So it's a core mechanic of the combat. And then it's a job system, class system. It's a job system. So you have your primary job, and then you can slot skills and arts from other jobs you've mastered as well. So it's a mix and match.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can, the combo metrics on your characters is insane. And if you don't want to deal with it, you can just press Y and it will auto-fill everything out for you.
Oh my gosh.
It will just give you a build. It will just give you a build. And it'll be like, and the build is probably good. It's not going to be great, but it will be easily handle anything the game throws at you. If you want a min-max, you could probably spend, as I've done a couple times, an hour, 2 hours planning your characters. So there's a lot of depth there. The game has a lot of systems and a lot of depth.
But they work well together. There's not like a lot of friction.
No, I don't feel like I haven't felt much friction between all the systems. Trying to think of any nitpicks I have or downsides. the collectibles in the game, there's a lot of like little things to pick up off the ground. You just have to run by them. But the thing is, there's so many of them that they just lose importance. Like you run by and pick them up, but you don't care what they are. Yeah. There's hundreds of them, maybe even 1,000 of different types of kind of the just junk that you pick up, but you have to use them for different quests or whatnot. But you just don't pay attention anymore. Like,
right.
I'll just run through and I'll just pick them up, but I'm not paying attention to what they are. I don't care what they are.
You only care when you have to do something and you already have them anyways, probably.
Yeah.
In inventory.
Yep, basically. So.
You need 500 pine cones. Oh, good. I picked all those up.
Yeah, and so basically I'm like, I don't know if that's great. It gives a reason to like run around the map some and collect things, but it's not. Yeah. They become background noise more than anything. Right. Some of the... No, I wouldn't even say the world design's been pretty great. There's a good amount of fast travel points. When you kill named boss monsters, even like field bosses, so just bosses you find you can choose to attack or not. When you kill them, they actually become... A gravestone goes down and it becomes a fast travel point. So there's incentive to do those because it just opens up quicker travel throughout back and forth through the game. There's great vistas. I mean, I'm 50 hours in and it's still showing me cool things. So,
and you've been playing primarily on handheld or
exclusively,
maybe
most of the time. A little bit before I left, and then after getting home, I've been playing it back docked again.
Do you notice anything different in the fidelity of the image?
No, not really.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. I mean, maybe it was a little worse when handheld, but it's such a smaller screen anyway, and the distance you're viewing it from, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it looks ridiculously good for a Switch game. It's still a Switch game. It's not going to compare to a PS5 game or even a PS4 game. But
right.
For Switch, it looks really good, and they're pushing a lot of content on screen. Like, you have six characters, 7 a lot of times because you have a hero with you, an additional party member. So and they're all doing attacks and effects, and there's anywhere from like 1 to 7 enemies on the screen. Like, I don't know how they're making the Switch run this. Like,
they're wizards.
At anything higher than 320p, like, it's crazy. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. It's definitely scratching the JRPG itch. It's one of the better JRPGs I played in a long time. We'll see how long it takes me to finish it, because I think I'll finish it at this point. I'm far enough in. I want to see the answers to the questions that have been set up now. So
yeah, right. Yeah, I imagine you're going to finish it.
Yeah.
For me, the last 2 weeks, I recorded a podcast alone 2 weeks ago, so it's been 2 weeks since we've been here, or I've been here. I played quite a few different things, mainly at night or in the morning. So first one, of course, in the morning with my daughter is Wind Waker. We are super deep into Wind Waker. We are, let's see, where are we at? We need to go get the iron boots. We need to go to the Wind Temple. And then to get, light up part of the Master Sword, and then we'll go to the Earth Temple, and then we'll be off to the Triforce Shards, and then on to Ganon. It's goes a lot quicker when you know what the fuck you're doing. Having played through it twice already, this is our third time, and she's as in love with it now as she was then. Just totally enamored by the story. But now she can control Link, so she's been doing some navigating on the ocean and been doing some climbing. With the grappling hook, so she will only use an item on X. So she, knows how to, move the stuff on the screen to put the item she wants to use on X, which is confusing when we pass the controller back and forth because I am expecting the item to be where I had it and it's switched. But and then she just giggles. One of her favorite things to do is to take all the empty bottles and empty them out, and then just pick up water and then dump it out and pick it up and dump it out, and take pictures of the wall with the pictograph. But we have. It's funny. This is her third time playing, and we're still seeing different things because each quadrant of the map has, some islands. And sometimes we just don't go to all the islands, and this time we're going to different places. And, both times that we played the game, we've only ever had 2 bottles, and now we have 3. So got a bottle from the Thorned Fairy Fountain I think it was Thorned Fairy Fountain. I think at least, that we'd never had before. So it's kind of cool doing different stuff. So we've been playing Wind Waker, and then I had a vasectomy this week, so I needed to sit down and chill all day, the day of the procedure and the next day. And I decided, what can I play that's long and story? And I went back into Persona 5 Royal. Not Persona 5, because I'm further along in Persona 5 than Royal, but I decided I'm gonna do Royal. And I feel like there there's a new character they introduced early in Persona 5 Royal. It's like a new
Yes.
kid. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't remember her from Persona
Yeah.
5.
A
Okay.
no, the Kasumi.
Yeah,
The
yeah. Mhm.
not dancer, gymnast.
Yes, that's right.
Yep. Yep.
I was like, I don't know this person.
Correct.
So
That is a new character for
yes.
Royal. She's awesome.
Cool. Excellent. Well, I haven't got to her yet. I may have met her or like talked about her or something, or saw her once maybe. But she'll come back. But I'm just in Kamoshida's palace right now. Like I'm in the like early May, I think.
Okay.
I have 13 days till suspension or expulsion if I don't
Yeah, yeah.
steal his heart basically or whatever, steal his desires. So I'm in the castle, and it's having a good time with that. And then I've been playing some Switch games at night because I'm upstairs where the PS5 is not. So I've been playing on Switch. Two things, maybe three things. Played Mega Man 11, which according to my save file, I haven't played since right before the pandemic hit. So like February 2020. And beat two or three bosses. And I I still don't really understand the gear system, like slowing down time and like amplifying your weapons there's a lot going on. But I've actually come to really like the level design. Before when I played, I feel like the levels were just super long. And they are long. I feel like they're longer than normal Mega Man boss
Okay.
stages, but I really like the variety in each like subsection of the level. And then there's a shop, Dr. Light's shop, where you can buy like energy tanks and one ups and whatever else with your bolts that you pick up. And you pick up so many bolts that you can, stock yourself up so that I don't know, it kind of makes the game not easier, because you still have to get through it, but you have more lives to try. Like I feel like an old Mega Man, like I'd have like 3 lives, and if I was lucky, I'd get 4. But being able to have like 10 lives and be able to retry a number of times has made it easier to get through. So that's been fun. I picked up Metroid Dread again.
Okay.
I haven't played it since last November, and I was 3 hours in or so, and I was really enjoying it. But right now, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, where I'm going, obviously, because I'm picking it back up. So I spent 2 hours with Metroid Dread and made no progress because I
Oh.
didn't know where to go. I figured out, okay, I'm in the yellow Emmy zone. I need to kill a yellow Emmy. I need to get to the central unit. Fuck, how do I get down to that central unit? So just, I shouldn't have put that one down. It's almost like I should probably restart it, if I want to play that game. And then I picked up Mario Maker 2 last night while we were watching soccer. And I don't know if it's like a user generated thing or a Nintendo thing, but they've got a bunch of like ninja speedrun courses. One, you play as Luigi, but your power up is a Master Sword, and as soon as you hit it, you turn into Link, and your job is to use your bow and arrow and hit 21 POW blocks in the world, as fast as you can, and you're speed running against other people, across the world or whatever. So that was just really bizarre and fun. Super. Was not expecting that. Really I was looking for just a fun little platformer while we were watching soccer, and it ended up being this really weird speedrun challenge with Link instead of Mario. And then there's one more thing that I was playing, and I just blanked on it. Probably not important. So yeah, just been bouncing around to things. I spent the most time with Wind Waker. Oh, this is not a video game, but I played a one-page RPG with my daughter today called
Nice.
Adventure Skeletons. You roll dice for your equipment. You roll a dice for your ancestry, like what you were before you turn into a skeleton, and then you roll dice for like treasure along the way. And you roll a d10 when you get attacked, and whatever number it is corresponds with a bone, basically. And if your bone gets hit twice, it falls off, and you can reattach other things or reattach bones or find a stick and, make the story up as you go. So it basically ran a tabletop RPG with my daughter today. And she was in. I knew this would happen when I found the right one, and this was the right one. She loved it. It was like, the storytelling that we always do, but guided by some loose rules on the game sheets,
Sure.
one page sheet, and the dice rolls. And she was able to help, co-create the story as you do when you're telling doing a tabletop RPG. And it was utterly fantastic. And then later in the day, she's like, "Tell me that story again." And it was like an hour-long game. I was like, "You want me to tell you the whole story?" Okay. And retold while she was taking a bath, I retold her the story. But she was just, I know one day, like, she's gonna love D&D, just getting into the story and like the parameters of how the the dice and your character, all that stuff. But her eyes were just like alive, on fire with this thing today. I was like, I gotta find more of these one-page RPGs that are easy to get into and appropriate for kids. I'm telling the story, so I can make it appropriate, of course.
But some are easier to do that than others.
Exactly.
But that sounds awesome.
It was super cool. It's on itch.io. It's called Awesome Skeletons. I downloaded it just to check it out. But I'm going to go back and donate to it's Grant Hewitt, I think.
Yeah, I just brought it up. Adventure Skeletons by G.S. Howitt. So I assume Grant Howitt.
Yes.
It looks silly and fun.
Yes, exactly what it was. It was super, super easy to get into. Silly, fun. I rolled the destination for your bored skeletons who are tired of being guards at this old wizard's dungeon. So you decided to go on an adventure. And we rolled the dice, and it took us to a seaside resort. And my daughter was like, "Let's go to San Diego." I was like, "Wow, yes, let's do it."
Okay.
So, yeah, it was cool. Very cool.
Man,
so
very cool.
Doing more of that. Yeah.
All right.
So lots of gaming with my daughter or by myself late at night.
There you go.
So yeah, good times all around. Looking forward to, I don't know what. I just been bouncing. My gaming ADD is pretty strong right now. Bouncing
it seems like it. Based on Discord, I'm like, what are you going to be playing next?
Yes, exactly. I just can't.
I know the feeling. If I didn't have Xenoblade, I would be doing the same thing, and I was doing the same thing before Xenoblade. Right. Just how it goes. Sometimes you just don't have a thing to grab you, and you're just like, all right, I have an incredibly large backlog, so let's just try all these different games.
Exactly. See what hits.
Yeah. Well, cool.
So yeah, it's been a good week. And yeah, we I mentioned on the podcast before, you might not have heard, but raised about $448 or so.
Nice.
For bodily autonomy charities between the two of us.
Nice.
So we'll talk offline about the actual number and get the donations out so that we can report who we donated to this week. And thanks everyone for downloading our podcast, and thanks for listening. This was episode, I think 349 is what I said at the beginning, but I am now forgetting.
I believe so. I think that's correct.
Yes, that is correct. 349. And we will see you next week for episode 350, when surely we're going to have blockbuster news for you.
Yeah, more delays probably.
Probably, exactly right. God of War is delayed.
Yeah.
Don't hate me if that happens. All right, folks. Thanks for listening.
Later, everyone.